Hey guys, it's Leon Nightwalker. Just here to do another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV on New Game Plus. So, on the last episode, we had just gotten finished with fighting Ifrit. And then we got done talking with the Scions of the Seventh Dawn about the status of that. So we're gonna just pick up from there. And let's see. Okay, so we gotta resume. Alright. So now we gotta head back to the Waking Sands. Alright. That's a little bit too close. And actually, hang on a second before I go ahead. Just need to check something here. Okay, I'm good now. So let's go ahead and make our way to the Waking Sands. Scythe Strive. Alright, make our way down here. You know, I find it funny that they make this location an instance-based area, and yet we can't get housing for anything like that. I mean, honestly, I know it's kind of building on a community thing, trying to put them in wards versus instances, but at the same time though, it would make everyone's lives a lot easier if housing was instance-based. Then we wouldn't have to create more wards or create enough space for people. And even with the new housing system being lottery-based, I don't imagine it's going to make things a lot better. So I honestly think that things like that should honestly be instance-based. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, back to the story. Hero in the making. Oh, this is the quest where I'm supposed to select a company, isn't it? I wonder if I'm gonna have to select one, even though I've already joined one. Here they come, barging in. Yeah, they're all trying to butter her up for me. Guilty party squirms. Honestly, I wouldn't have a problem joining the Maelstrom if not for the fact that they're a group of pirates. I'm really not into that idea. Eager is an understatement for these guys. They came barging in. Alright. I guess I gotta meet with Tataru at the entrance. Yep. Okay, so we're heading to Gridania first. Oh, right. Forgot I summoned my companion Choco. So, don't know if I've shown you guys my Chocobo. I don't think I have, but this is my Chocobo, Midnight. I went with the Hades barding. Kind of goes with the look that I wanted for it. And I actually successfully, although excruciatingly, succeeded on getting my chocobo to be a soot black color. Well, that's not gonna help. Yep, suit black. Yeah, and from my understanding, it's one of the 2 hardest colors to get because of its RNG. In fact, I fully believe that because when I attempted to get black, I got every conceivable shade of green before he turned black. And it was so stupid too, because one of the shades, I truly believed he was black because it was so dark a shade, but if you put him in sunlight, you could see that he was green. So I was super excited when I succeeded in turning it black. I'll never try to recolor him as a result. But I really like the way I got my chocobo. But enough of the side story. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the main story. What am I doing? Okay. I thought we were going to Gridania first. Yeah, I thought we had to do this in a specific order. Alright, so it's probably gonna look vastly different than it currently does. You know, I wish they'd hold more events here. It's a very nice location. Am I missing something here? Oh, gotta stand right there.
I lost my son to the calamity.
The 3 Seedseers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body.
Was that Nashu from the Manderville questline behind me?
Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
And it's the twins.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seedseer. The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Elysian. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
Holy crap, his voice is different. I heard from people that his voice changed after Heavensward? Well, not after it, but after Heavensward was released. But yeah, I never really noticed until I heard him just now.
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves. nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat. "5 years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartano. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed, each waking hour a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk the high roads without fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
Her voice is different too.
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder's standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity, we must think of the children.
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the
All
forest.
the elementals!
environment here as soon as get to this.
If you'll permit me, Alfie, no.
Okay, so, yeah. Honestly, if I went purely based off of philosophy, I probably would have followed Kane Senna? Kane Senna. Probably would have followed her anywhere, just simply because I relate most to her philosophy. I'm not someone who really likes going around picking fights with people, but I will retaliate if threatened. And that's kind of the philosophy that she has, and she just seems to be a very caring, kind, strong leader. I admire her for that. Unfortunately, though, really, when it comes to choosing a grand company, there's more to it than just philosophy. There's the gear, the colors, the designs. And unfortunately, outside philosophy, to me, Twin Adder falls short of that. But I know my opinion is just that, an opinion. But I will say that when it comes to philosophy, I relate most to the Twin Adder.
And my sister, Alize, at your service.
They even pronounce the names differently.
I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler. You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
Yeah, honestly, the voices definitely give off a snobby tone to them, whereas the future voices give a little bit of a idealistic approach to their tone. Kind of humbled and idealistic. Right now, you can tell there's a bit of a snobbish tone to both of them, if you go off first impression. Yep, self-defense. Yeah, and back then it was hard to really tell either one of them apart without speaking, because they're both dressed exactly the same. They looked the same. And if neither one spoke, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. But I'm sure there's plenty of fans of this game who have a preference on which twin they prefer. I like them both equally. I know that's kind of a... I know that's kind of a wimpy way of putting it, not choosing one or the other, but really, they both have equally strong points. Alphino, he's a guy who tries to better the world, one step at a time, with all his effort put forward. And then Alize is earnest and caring, that she tries to help those in need. And even tries to learn new skills that help to create change in her own way. So yeah, each one's got their strong points, that it would be easy for any fan to choose one or the other that they like more. But I don't really have any definitive points on which I'd prefer more. I mean, if I had to pick one, it would probably be more inclined to Alphino, just simply because Alphino is with you through most of your journey, whereas Alize tends to go off on her own when she feels that it's necessary. Let's see. Okay, so we gotta go there. Now, of course, there's definitely points where Alize has a close relationship with you, the character, as well. But it's a matter of longevity, I guess. But that would probably be the only deciding factor for me. Maybe I should choose my teleportation location first. But yeah, it's time. Because they both have equally great qualities about them. And Raban.
Behold, 'tis the Sultana Nanimo herself!
And Roban as well.
They called him Roban.
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore. Hurrah! Rauban! Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold, where by the grace and glory of Naldal have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Ul'dah!
There, at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard. Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests.
You know, I'm starting to understand it a little bit better. 'Cause those twins, they do come off as snobby at first. They really do. But when you think about where they came from, or if you haven't found that out yet, but really, once you do, once you realize where they come from, and what the people are like there, it's understandable why they might have a snobby demeanor when you first meet them.
If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act. Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Ul'dah stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you, line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Ul'dah, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Ul'dah. As Ul'dah prospers, so shall her people.
Ja, for Ul'dah!
Together we are one.
Your Grace.
Raoban?
See two different pronunciations on the same clip.
People of Ul'dah, I, Nanamo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Ul'dah. Yet those who measured that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Ul'dah, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn!
Yeah,
Forsooth!
The time is now!
I
Fancy meeting you again.
yeah, now, this philosophy for the immortal flames is probably the exact opposite of what I believe in, which is going back to the Twin Adder. The Twin Adder, they believe on basically not attacking first, they only retaliate in self-defense, not proactively fighting, whereas the immortal flames, they want to strike down their enemies before they become a threat. At least that's what I get from this, which we'll confirm here in a second, because Alphino will give the short of it. But I know some people who observed that speech are probably going to think, well, Raoban's a strong leader, or may think that, why isn't Raoban the leader since he's the one rallying everyone? Well, if you look at the standard, it's a scale where you have a balance there. And we can look at Raoban and Nanamo as being the different parts of that scale, because they work together to inspire the people of Ul'dah. And it's inspiring to have a war hero speak in a public speaking setting like this one. So, Raoban is someone that a lot of people would admire and consider as a hero. And even if we weren't using that as a means of identifying why people might listen or be inspired by him, and you look at the moments where Nanamo was looking down, kind of worried, shamefully, or uncertain. Well, Nanamo, she's dealing with a bunch of stuff about the state of her people and how she can best help them. I don't think even Raoban knows how to help their people, but Raoban's the type of guy who has faith in himself and others, that he's not worried about the what-ifs, he's worried about right now. And Nanamo just struggles to figure out what's the best approach to help her people. But despite that, she pulls it together, and she brings her people together to know what's important to her and to each other. Eventually, Nanamo does understand what she needs to do for her people, but at this point in the story, she just doesn't. And you can't really blame anyone for that when there are people who are relying on you, a great number of people, and your decisions and your actions determine their fate. That can be crippling. So, yeah, I admire them both for that partnership that they have with each other. And Nanamo was even one of the people that helped Raubon achieve his position. So, they've really complemented each other in being the officials of the Ul'Dan government here. So I admire them both for that, but the philosophy is definitely something that's probably opposite to me. But the name Immortal Flames, their gear, and there's also the benefit that I started out in Ul'Da when I started the game. So those reasons ultimately led to me choosing the Immortal Flames. But enough of the monologue. Let's go ahead and continue. Yeah, see, so as I mentioned before, if anything would threaten their prosperity, they'll seek it out and crush it. So they're proactively eliminating the threat versus Twin Adder, who just self-defends. Alright, and now we're off to our last memorial service in Limsa Lamenza. Now, before I start this one, I will require just 1 minute. Hang on for me 1 second. Alright, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and continue. So we gotta talk to this guy right here.
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Yep, and they're all pirates. Every last one of them.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride. "700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
Hello again, twins.
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say. The crimson field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the black longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilthier's bloody executioners. And together, we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano.
Why does she keep saying Barracuda instead of Barracuda? Which is exactly how it's pronounced, but I don't know.
That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage. Yet many of ours did not survive.
Did they
Join
drown?
me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom, much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin
bastards.
have risen?
While the mines of Ogomoro spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now the Curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves till sea swallows all.
Long live the Admiral!
Remove them!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
Okay, I definitely have my
I'll
own thoughts
follow ye
about
to the
this.
7 hells, Admiral!
Fancy meeting you again.
But you know, I think I'll give my commentary after Alpha Node's description. Okay, I think I've seen enough to make my commentary. So, yes, I honestly do think that when it comes to Maelstrom, I would say it's probably the furthest thing in philosophy that I would associate with. So, my primary reason for why I don't choose to be with this group is because they're pirates. And even in the address, Merlwyb actually openly admits how there is mutiny below deck in this ship, as she put it, which she's basically saying the city. That basically there are rebellious members of her city that would rather turn against each other than to deal with threats that they all have in common. And those are problems that usually occur from poor leadership, or at least poor government. It says a lot about Limsa Lominsa and the Maelstrom. The fact that there is some mutiny, there is some violence amongst themselves, which, I mean, crime is a normal thing in many different cultures, but so far it seems that Limsa Lominsa is the one that struggles with it most. The fact that she had to bring it up in into an address. So there's a problem there in terms of loyalty amongst themselves. It says that this group is poorly run by leadership or government, and that not a lot of them can be trusted. Or at least you should be wary about trusting the Maelstrom. And then the fact that there's a lot of talk about shedding blood as well. Also, one could argue that it's like the Immortal Flames, and it probably is, but at least the Immortal Flames doesn't have its own people trying to I want to say uproot, but I don't think that's properly the right term. Ul'dah doesn't struggle with its own people trying to overthrow the government or its leadership the way that Limsa does. And I don't know, I just using the same terminology, I'm not someone who feels safe on a rocking ship. Well, not rocking, but a ship with a leak in it. That's what I should say. And the funny thing is that I actually come from a family that has work in a line of the sea. So that honestly does appeal to me. But the whole thing about this place being ran by pirates and having a very cutthroat culture and government, it's very off-putting for me. So, and to add on to it, they don't necessarily have the best history on establishing this city. But anyway, I think that's enough of my thoughts regarding the Maelstrom. Let's continue. Yeah, and it looks like that Alphino was done talking anyway. So I picked the right place to stop. In short, hurry back. Alright, so we gotta go to Horizon. Yeah, I'm just taking a pause to greet my FC members. I mean, I made my choice a long time ago. And meanwhile, with the twins.
The gods only know what grand company our adventurer friend will keep. The wheels of change are in motion regardless.
Brother, are you certain this course is best?
Whatever do you mean, dear sister?
The so-called remembrance ceremonies were little more than standard waving rallies, as though the Calamity and Seventh Umbral era warranted scarcely a mention.
Well, of course they were standard waving rallies. Since you are so observant, mayhap you noticed what mention was made of the Warriors of Light? None. I suppose they must have forgotten the heroes who spared Eorzea a fate worse than the Calamity? No, dear Alizé, they haven't forgotten these details. They have elected to omit them. Deep are the wounds the Calamity inflicted upon Eorzea. So deep, in fact, that the realm still bleeds. Needless to say, the beast tribes and their primals do little to alleviate the pain.
Really? It's so strange how different both the twins sound this early on in the game compared to what they are now.
So, the task of salving Eorzea's wounds falls to the scions of the Seventh Dawn, with a little help from our friends, the Grand Companies. Remembrance will yield no remedy. If our world is to heal, we must put the horrors of the Calamity behind us.
Our grandfather would never entrust the fate of the realm to despots who rewrite history to their convenience. There must be another way to cure what ails this world, and I mean to find it.
You are most welcome to try. Our paths may differ, but our destination is the same. In time, I dare say we will see eye to eye.
And you do.
I should hope so.
My lady!
We are to escort you.
Hope
I don't
does
even
not come
remember
into
them
it.
having escorts.
We share the burden of this fate, dear sister, and will prevail together or not at all. The salve will serve not only to close up our present wounds, but prevent old ones from opening anew.
You know, the way they talk, it would be easy for a person to see them and think, these guys are villains, aren't they? Because they have a rather ominous way of speaking. Honestly, I don't know if choosing a different company would change it for me for real. And honestly, I don't want to know. At least not right now, I don't. Eventually, I haven't worked on any other Grand Company. And eventually, I might try for the Maelstrom because there is gear that they have that I want, but I don't really feel like doing that grind all over again. Not right now, anyway. I believe you are expecting me. Alright. So back to Horizon. I am not trying to join a fate. This guy's Biggs, right? Don't really interact with him much. What am I saying? I don't really interact with them much. Not anymore, anyway. Well, aren't we lucky that a monster happens to be passing by? They notice a twig snap. They notice a twig snapping, but they don't notice a sprint. You don't even have a uniform. I prefer this attire. Sue me. Hey, it's the Onion Knight. He does have an onion-shaped head. Y'all can leave. I can take them all on my own. Let's take out the archers first. Now let's get the group. Time to slow down. And just one target left. Unless... At this point, even if he does have reinforcements, it's just going to be easier to do this. I thought it was actually about to run away for real. That is so annoying having to chase it down. Like, what is that really going to accomplish? Bricks! Puff of Darkness. Yes, let's. My sword belongs to Ul'dah. You're funny. I'm a lieutenant. Or maybe I'm a higher rank. It's been a while since I've looked. So funny. Flame Captain. Okay. Let's go to Horizon. Yeah, I'm curious what all benefits we're gonna get whenever they expand on the ranking system for your respective Grand Company. Because we get pretty cool features as it is. Your own squad. the ability to turn in different gear for seals. I'm just curious how much more they're going to expand on that and what kind of benefits we'll get for it. The squad is really cool to me, which is funny because I hate trust. The trust system, I hate it. Maybe it's just the fact that it's higher end content where they're used, and typically you're more prone to dying in higher end content. And when you do die, you have to restart. Is it the twins? Oh, those two. Wedge at your service. Alright, I think that should just about do it for this episode, guys. And I do wish to hear what you guys thought of this video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And until the next video, guys, I'll catch you guys later.